Hi there, Reuben here for Native Instruments, and in this video I'll be taking a look at some standout libraries from two different developers, Big Fish Audio and Vir2 Instruments. I'll be showcasing some of the patches from 10 libraries throughout two short sketches that I've put together. Each uses a few of my favourite instruments. Of course, I've only had the opportunity to utilise a handful of the sounds on offer, but hopefully that's enough to get a flavour of the libraries. Here's a short snippet of each sketch. I'll play them both in full at the end of the video. The first 5 libraries I've used here are from Big Fish Audio: Ambient Minimalism, Ancient World, Street Percussion, Vintage Horns 2 and Vintage Vocals. Big Fish Audio have been in the sampling game for over 30 years, and throughout the decades their sounds have been featured in hundreds of hit songs and top film and television soundtracks. So let's break down this ambient style track. Ambient Minimalism is a great tool for quickly laying down a mood, with phrases and soundscapes available in 12 root keys. It contains tonal, experimental, melodic and rhythmic patches, all tempo synced to your project BPM. This is the perfect library for music making on a tight deadline. Running in complete control, you get NKS previews to give you an idea of the content, but each individual patch has dozens of phrases within. I've used phrases from the patches Electric Piano Loops, Ambient Bass Loops, Tonal Loops 3, Reverse Minimalist Guitar Loops, and Ambient Pads. With Ambient Minimalism, you get a chance to EQ the sounds, add different reverb spaces, adjust the effects, filter, and ADSR. In fact, I've given the tonal and guitars a long attack, release, and delay to ramp up the sounds. Track 5 is pads, and with a different sound on every key, it's easy to audition and choose the best sounds. I've also dialed in a long ping-pong delay to the instrument. Ancient World Instruments of Antiquity is a treasure trove of ancient musical instruments from around the world. 11 string instruments, 8 wind instruments and 13 percussion, with a wealth of key-switched articulations. In some cases up to 30 samples per note have been recorded. As well as the multi-sampled patches, there are also hundreds of looped and tempo-synced performances. This is the perfect collection for historical games, period movies, or just for spicing up your tracks. I've used multi-sampled percussion with the water pumpkins and emotive lyre, a type of ancient harp. There are actually 3 different types of lyre available within Ancient World. Another track from Ancient World, the performance samples of the Flageira. I'm probably mangling that pronunciation. This is a type of bamboo flute, and I've tuned these up in the interface to match the key of the track. Street percussion is the sound of the city, with crashing cans and buckets that give an authentic feel of homemade drum sets. It includes over 100 unique and deeply sampled instruments with lots of round robins and velocity layers. The sounds include metal, plastic, wood, ethnic drums and custom drum kits. I've used the beat preset Street 3 and made some adjustments to the sequencer, copy and pasting the data into 2 different scenes and stripping one of them back. The powerful 8-channel step sequencer gives full control over velocity, length, panning, pitch, reverse, reverb and delay. The presets and tweaking options give endless percussive possibilities. You can also play one-shots, which I've used here for some small fills. Vintage Horns 2 emulates the sound of horn players from the 60s and 70s. It's designed to be used in a variety of genres: funk and soul, cool jazz, rock and roll, and film noir. The special sauce is that it's not a perfect, pristine sounding collection, but instead captures the character of horn players from the eras, including the authentic quirks and minor imperfections that make them sound so good. I've used 2 instruments, a classic film noir alto sax, and also a bass flute, which makes full use of the different articulations assigned to key switches. These highly dynamic patches needed a little taming, so I've used Native Instruments' solid bus comp to compress with some character. What I really like is that Big Fish Audio studied the specific playing styles and deliberately left the tuning loose, keeping in some notes that other developers might have deleted. The kind of honking, squawking, warbling, cracked and slurred notes used by classic players. The result is a horn library with real character. Just like the horns, Vintage Vocals aims to capture the soul of 1960s and 70s music, this time with solo singers and girl groups. With oohs, ahs, ohs, sustains, staccatos and swells, the classic feel and stylistic quirks of 3 sampled singers shines through. These vocalists have decades of experience recording and performing on countless R&B, funk, soul and gospel projects. They're singing with real heart. Each of the singers has their own patch of solo vocals, and there are several other patches with all 3 singers in unison, major and minor chords. I've used just a single patch, the pre-sung major chords, slowly increasing the volume and dynamics towards the end of the track. On to Sketch 2, and the libraries that I've used in this one are from Vir2 Instruments: Aeris Hybrid Choir Designer, Aura Atmospheric Drone Builder, Vital Mallets, Vital Sticks, and Phoenix Rise Hit and Whoosh Builder. Behind Vir2 are an international team of sound designers, musicians and programmers who specialise in creating advanced virtual instrument libraries that shape the sound of modern music. This track is a pumped-up trailer-style cue, so let's break it down. Vir2's Hybrid Choir Designer features multi-sampled male and female choirs, including solo singers. There are also a wealth of presets for both natural-sounding voices and more special effects with the dual-layer pad engine. With multiple vowels, true legato, and lots of sequencing and modulation options, Aeris is a really well-rounded choir library. For this track, I've started with a distorted pad preset and gone into the sequencing panel and adjusted panning to ping-pong, This moves the sound from left to right. This second track uses a more traditional choir mix, but I've used an effects preset here, Delay in Stereo Land. This widens the choir across the stereo field. The next couple of tracks feature Aura, a really fun atmosphere and drone designer. Over 400 designed sounds come together in the quad-core blending engine, so you can shape your perfect soundscape, modulate effects, and even load your own samples into the engine. There are way too many features to look at in detail here, but in this patch the key velocity is tied to a filter, opening up as the sound plays. I've also sequenced the pitch here in Sequencer 2 for an arpeggio effect. As this track plays, you can see and hear the blending of the four sounds, as the XY pad is automated. I've programmed this by using the automatically assigned hardware dials of my Complete Control keyboard. These next three tracks feature Vital Series Mallets, taking tuned percussion into another realm. This library loads as one master patch and features 8 different mallet instruments in an interface designed to blend all of the sounds together. The starting point for almost 150 presets are the deep sampled marimba, xylophone, glockenspiel, tubular bells, glass marimba, song bells, vibraphone, and crotales. Including a wide range of dynamics, mallet types, and articulations, you can use the built-in effects routing to completely transform the raw samples into enticing hybrid melodics. This is a preset mixing 4 of the instruments using mainly the soft mallet materials, a lush delay, and ambient reverb. Again, using delay and reverb, this preset has been adjusted to shave off some of the harder attack of the notes with the transient designer. Since there's a lot going on in the low end at this point in the track, I've used the onboard EQ to dip the low frequencies of this preset. Similar in style and functionality, Vital Series Sticks takes many different sounds and blends them together. This time the found sounds of various sticks hitting lots of different types of objects and surfaces. The developers search for exciting and quirky sounds in the most unlikely of places, including kitchens, offices, and even dumpsters. 4 playback engines offer a sequencer each for complex rhythmic layering and effects. Despite using only one door track, there's quite a lot going on here, as sticks can be played a number of different ways. I've designed 4 different sequences for 4 selected sound sources. Note that only one of these has the normal 16 steps. I've set the others to odd numbers of steps, giving a feel of polyrhythmic playback, essential for the nervous nature of this cue. Different keys play back different sequences, and some will play one-shots of the sounds, so I've used plenty of variation here, starting off sparse and adding in more sounds as the cue progresses. I've selected some effects in the interface: flanger, delay, and reverb. Phoenix Rise Hit and Whoosh Builder is an amazing tool for creating tempo-synced cinematic impacts, rises, and whooshes, as the name suggests. It features a powerful interface that layers up to 8 different sounds. You can easily control timing, pitch, and volume of each element, and add a suite of effects to transform the hundreds of tagged samples. Over 150 custom presets are useful jumping off points. I've used a couple of the presets here. This one was good to go, except for a slight tweak to the pitch of Rise 1 so it matches my track. An easy fix in the edit menu. There's much more to Phoenix than meets the eye. All of the 8 sounds can be triggered independently, which I've utilised in this track. Playing separate rises and drum hits. Here are the individual hits in the context of the track. I've also adjusted the beat counter at the top of the interface to 16, so that the rise lasts exactly 16 beats. This is a really useful aspect of Phoenix, invaluable for lining up effects perfectly. For both the sketches, I've used iZotope's mastering assistant to get an approximate idea of what a pro master could sound like. This is a really easy one-click process and gets great results in no time. Then I've manually adjusted some EQ and maximised settings to balance the sound to my taste. I hope that gives you a good idea of these 10 useful NKS-ready libraries, full of stunning sounds for all sorts of music genres. To finish, here are both the sketches in full. Thanks for watching.